Alright people, welcome back to another video in our Mitre-Attack series. So today we stay in the defense evasion kill chain step or tactic, and we're going to take a look at Rogue Domain Controller T1207. This is a topic that I heard about multiple times, and I'm happy to see it in the Mitre-Attack list of possible techniques. This is going to be a rather short video. There is not a whole lot of content going on. While I copy, today we have Monday the 29th of December. This is the 5th video I'm recording in a row for the entire week. It's also the last video, I think. After a while you notice the energy level is going down and that's obviously not something you want to do. So I always, when I feel like in a video recording that the energy is going low, the enjoyment goes down, and the richness of the ideas, of the context that I can give along these texts goes down. So this will be the last video for today, and then we will have a week covered. Let's see what we have. So defense evasion, it is Windows. The contributor is Vincent Le Tout. So this must be a Canadian or obviously from France, Frenchman. It is created also fairly early in the Mitre-Attack creation lifetime. So 2017 are the earliest. We have seen some of them this week, or the last techniques that we covered. 2018 is also fairly early. But let's read what they have to say here. So about rogue domain controllers. So adversaries may register a rogue domain controller to enable manipulation of active directory data. So again, let's copy that. Register rogue. You wanna manipulate active directory data. So you guys know that the domain controller is the heart of your cybersecurity infrastructure, of your entire, not just cybersecurity, of your entire IT infrastructure. The domain controller has all user accounts, it authenticates all the users, and if you have a rogue controller, well, that's like a rootkit. This means this domain controller can create user accounts, create admin accounts, and let's keep reading what they write. I don't want to talk something that's written here anyways. So DC Shadow may be used to create a rogue domain controller. DC Shadow is a method of manipulating active directory data, including objects and schemas, by registering or reusing an interactive registration and simulating the behavior of a DC. Yeah, it's about simulation of a behavior of a DC. That's what you want. And I'm eager to read what ideas they have to detect this. So one idea is obviously know how many DCs you should have, and if there's one additional, that's a rogue domain controller. But yeah, once registered, a rogue DC may be able to inject and replicate changes into AD infrastructure for any domain object, including credentials and keys. And that's what it is all about, credentials and keys. Registering a rogue DC involves creating a new server in a NTD-SDA, whatever that thing is, objects in the configuration partition of the AD schema, which requires administrative privileges, either domain or local, or the key RBTG hash. And this thing I use to detect. So I have no clue what these letters mean, but it's something Kerberos. It's like, does it mean Kerberos golden ticket GT? Something like that, okay? But this is just abusing the Windows Kerberos security system. I tried to understand Kerberos at one time. I had to understand it in order to catch these golden and silver ticket malicious stuff. And this is when I realized that Kerberos is insanely complicated for no reason. At university in cryptography and then also security protocols, we learned these handshaking schemas that you need to do proper cryptography. And I always felt like, and I never had the energy to research it deeper, but I felt like Windows overcomplicated Kerberos for only one reason, and that is to confuse the cyber criminals. But all they achieved is they confused the cyber defenders. You don't confuse the cyber criminals. They figured that stuff out, and they have attacks like Kerber roasting as a result of that. And let me write that down as a in big letters here. So we write Kerber roasting. Okay, let's write that out in a very big letter here, and so that we when we watch this video in some time, in red letters as well. This is a stuff that has been enabled by Microsoft, and I really don't understand why they have such a complicated authentication schema going on there. What we can take away here, maybe I just don't understand it well enough, and it has to be this complicated, but from my perspective, it is an overcomplication for the goal that it achieves. It's authentication. It just achieves authentication of privileged accounts. That's it. And yeah, as a result of that, Kerberos is around. It is being abused. A lot of no administrator in the world understands how the heck that works. So you need security professionals for that, and even they don't really understand how it works. I forgot Kerberos details when I was done with that creation of a detections rule. It was somewhat working as far as I remember, so the red teamers, they tested it, it triggered, so it passed the quality checks, and I was done with it. But what I took away from Kerberos, that thing, the best security contribution that Microsoft can do, scrap Kerberos. Just get rid of it. And then do a request for comments, RFC, and let some real professionals like design an open protocol for you. And when I say real professionals, I don't criticizing Microsoft here, but whoever developed Kerberos didn't really know what he was doing there. It is an overcomplicated thing. I don't like it at all. And whenever I see hacks based on Kerberosing, I can't help but recommending to getting rid of that complicated trash system. It confuses everybody, but it doesn't confuse one group, and that's the cyber criminals. They are not confused by that. You need one smart head to breach it, the others replicate it, and that's it. Yeah, that's my rant on Kerberos. It's unbelievable. I'm not sure. I will see how long Kerberos will live. But if it lives long enough, and if it annoys me just enough, I might be creating some articles on why it doesn't work and propose something better. But it's not annoying and just enough for me to expend that energy on that topic. Maybe you have the energy to expend that, and maybe you can write in the comments why I'm wrong and why Kerberos is absolutely needed and why it is flawlessly designed in the way it is. I don't know. Let's keep reading. This technique may bypass system login and security monitors, such as, and by the way, this is not about Kerberos here, so it's about a rogue domain controller, but Kerberos is executed on domain controllers, that's the thing. Okay, but so again, let's back to the rogue domain controller. This technique may bypass system logging and security monitors, such as security information event management SIM products. Since actions taken on a rogue DC may not be reported to these sensors, and that's exactly the thing. Since they are not reported to the sensors, well, if you have a domain controller sitting, it should be connected, rogue or not. So you need to know how many domain controllers you have in your environment. It doesn't work to say, oh, it's not reporting to the SIM. Well, if it's not reporting to the SIM, it's game over anyways. Okay. Then the technique may also be used to alter and delete replication and other associated metadata to obstruct forensic analysis. Yes, of course, if it's a rogue domain controller, it will always delete any logs that are. And then adversaries may also utilize this technique to perform SID history injection. I don't know what that is. SID, yes, that's an ID for services, service ID. And so each service that runs on the system has an ID, and here, but SID history injection, I don't know. Manipulate AD objects. Is it a technique, by the way? If yes, we will do it as a next video probably. AD objects such as accounts, access controller schemas to establish backdoors for persistence. But yeah, so far so good. Let's speed up a little bit, people, so we are 10 minutes in. And this rant that I did on Kerberos was not really helpful for progressing here. So I noticed that shorter videos are more enjoyable to watch for you people, and there are more clicks on them, the view ratio is higher, and yeah, just let's stick with the metrics a little bit as well. And at the same time, we have now covered a lot of techniques, and certain things they repeat, like here mitigation again cannot be easily mitigated because it must be prevented controls and we are abusing system features. So that's again cannot be done. This cannot controls. Yeah, you know what the system feature is? It's Kerberos most often. And here it's also the main controller shadow copies. But so yeah, again, you can disable system features sometimes. If you have a better alternative, when it comes to Windows, you don't. But the procedures Mimikatz, LSA dumped, so LSA is also the password file. This module can be used to make AD updates by temporarily setting a computer to be a DC. Okay. I didn't know that you can set a computer to be a DC for a short time, so this must be cached, right, if it is connected. But let's see what they write. Detection of rogue domain controller, registration and Active Directory replication, abuse by correlating. Creation of a TDSA server, unexpected usage of directory replication, replication RPC calls. What is RPC? Remote process something, right? I don't know what it is, but it's some remote administrator activity. And then 4, Kerberos authentication by non-DC machines. And that's it. Okay. References, a little bit weak. 3 references on something like that, I don't know. Also here I miss a group that used that, or a campaign that used that. We just have the tool. So here, in the rogue domain controller, there's some room for improvement, I feel. They have Delphi, DC Shadow, then Metcalf, unofficial guide to Mimikatz, okay, and Delphi, Mimikatz retrieved. So here you don't have, doesn't endpoint detection detect that kind of stuff? So isn't there some CrowdStrike, some McAfee, Symantec stuff going on that can protect you from this? Maybe not. But yeah, that's the full page already. So we now understand a little bit better what a rogue domain controller is. It's defense evasion again. We know what it does. It manipulates the Active Directory data and hopes not to be connected to your logging and monitoring solution there. It cannot be mitigated. We know that Mimikatz plays a role in this. And detection, there is something described, a 4-step procedure that just describes what to look out for. Also NTDS, TSA data here. So if you see that in your logs, and you see unexpected replication of your AD, that's suspicious. The references are a bit weak, none of that catched my eye. But yeah, so this is it for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time on cybersecurity. It is time well spent. and see you in the next video then. Goodbye.